Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading room. Yes, it's Thursday. Sorry, had to take a moment there. Okay, we'll get the screen share going on. All right, yesterday was very quiet. As we suspected, there was actually a decent move going into the close, which has kind of been the theme of late. The market seems to make some sort of move early on, then it goes dead for the rest of the session, and then it will do a little something going into the closing. The overnight also very, very quiet, so not a whole lot driving the market right now. We are beginning the day pretty much where we left off yesterday, in this 7,200 zone. And I think, looking at the daily chart, yes, it looks as though we are right up here with the contract highs at the moment. 72.14 was the contract high, and here we are pushing through 72.22 yesterday, actually breaching the old contract high. So we will see if there is any kind of pushback as a result. There normally is. You should normally anticipate a little bit of a pushback on a breakout attempt. We're only a few minutes into the session, but it's looking as though we're getting a little bit more of a bearish follow through here. So here on the Eagle, we have the trend change signal. We come into the hard edge, and whenever we encounter the hard edge, we're going to look for some sort of reaction, and there we go. That's a very nice move lower to start. It's mirrored here on the Hawk with a first micro macro cross lower, a trend change signal here on the Falcon. And even here on the Raptor pre-market, we got ourselves a very nice cloud crossover signal. Actually, that one's almost textbook. So the cloud's getting very, very broad. We produced the number 2 signal, retraces to the hard edge, and again, normally we would anticipate a little bit of a bounce. It keeps going, however, and the clouds cross over. There's the pullback, and now the signal, the new signal with trend. The market pulling back again into the hard edge off of the open and following through on a reasonably good follow through on that number 3 signal as well. Mark says he was trading pre-market. Took a late filter entry at 4:37 my time. That would be this one right here. Ooh, that's a pretty one. I'll show you why. Notice how nice and flat the trend line is during this late filter entry. Here's another one to the upside. Sometimes when you'll get the late filter entry, but the trend line will still be kind of steep. It'll still have a lot of slope to it. But when it goes relatively flat and then comes back into sync, well, that's almost as good as money in the bank. Yeah, Mark says I had to ride that one out for an hour and a half, though, before it hit his 2 profit targets. 6 contracts. Nicely done, Mark. 6 contracts, 750 profit. Mark says those early pre-market trades have been working out pretty well for him so far. Definitely, we're here with a bearish slant, I think, this morning. Or at least that's how it's starting up. Still very early. We're only, what is it now? 8 minutes into the day. All right, a little bit of a pullback. The hawk now into yellow bars. This is the a 4-arrow consolidation building here. And the Falcon already getting a little bit more bullish. Here on the Raptor, we're not quite close enough to call this a hard edge bounce yet. So a little conflicted here. Soon we're going to see the market kind of get wound up in one of these tight little sideways ranges again. And it may actually just allow us to use our OCO order. All right, the Hawk's still kind of neutral, a lot of yellow bars here. The Falcon actually producing a trend change signal, so the Falcon already a little bit more bullish, as is the Raptor. Okay, now we are definitely close enough. If this does not print as a hard edge bounce with the signal prompt, I believe it should, but even if it doesn't visually, you can see that this is a hard edge bounce. This is what we were talking about the other day, where you should learn how to identify the signals apart from the signal prompts. Because if this is one tick short of touching the hard edge, it will not print as a number 3 signal, even though in actual fact that's precisely what it is. I may actually just do an OCO order here because I can see the market starting to wind up a little bit, start to get itself in a bit of a bind. Okay, this now the counter trend signal. That's the soft edge buy. Oh, are you going to give me a chance on this one? Darn it, I may have waited just a little bit too long to get the top half of the signal in. Shoot. I did. I think I waited too long. Yeah. Darn it. There they go. They're off to the hard edge. So I'll close that order out. Shoot. Had the right idea. This was the little range down here that I was watching. And I waited just a little bit too long. Excuse me. Well, here we go. We're back in the hard edge now. And it looks as though we are also up against a primary support zone. That's this blue line that runs through right here. We'll see what sort of a reaction we get from that. All right, so here we go. We're getting a little bit of reaction now from the hard edge, and the tool's a little conflicted. You can see the hawk, the falcon still kind of bullish, and yet the eagle and the raptor probably the most bearish here at the moment. I'm not going to let this signal get away on me. I'm going to get the eagle trade going on, something like this. A safer play would be to actually wait for a second push opportunity. And it looks like we may even get that. All right, let's put that on the shelf for now. It looks like the buyers are still very, very strong here at this point here on the Raptor. The Raptor now getting a little bit more bullish. This would be what I would refer to as an early number one signal. The clouds are, 90% crossed over. Well, maybe not quite 90, 60. And we've got the pullback and we've generated the signal. And we do have a second push opportunity on this one as well. So again, we kind of have the market a little bit stuck. I won't take this signal because I've already got the eagle signal kind of going, but for the sake of a couple of ticks, I would probably look to enter above there, and that would allow me to cover the trade a little bit tighter perhaps. We'll see. We'll revisit that as it builds. This resistance line seems to be holding the market down a little bit. The 7209, 7210 zone. All right, things turning over again, and here we go with the eagle once more. Another hard edge bounce, another green bar sell. I'll leave my entry the way I have it already. Here on the hawk, we're getting a red bar buy, so that also gives us a chance to short. The signal not complete yet. We only have the warning bar. Oh, it may not. There it goes. Signal disappeared, so we don't even have that signal. The Falcon getting ready to turn over. Here, the Raptor, depending on how liberal you want to be on your interpretation or how literal you want to be on your interpretation, technically, this is also a hard edge bounce. Even though the clouds are not in sync, this is, like I said, it's a hard edge bounce. So you could probably do a trade something like this, doing the second push now off of this little swing point. And I suppose you could even do an OCO on this one. You could buy a break above here. You could short a break below here. In fact, if they give me a chance, That's how I'll set it up. So we'll short below here, we'll buy above here. If the market does break down, so we had the early move out of the open. We've retraced most of it, so it's really hard to say whether this is a bear flag at this point or whether it's a new trend emerging. But let's assume for the moment that it is a bear flag. There's the possibility that we could retrace all the way down to yesterday's lows, which were somewhere around the 71.50 mark, if I remember. So you could see we could move 2 full support and resistance zones. Oh, looks like my OCO malfunction there, so let me just reinitiate that. And I think there was some monster slippage there. I don't think I've ever seen the NQ slip me so bad. Let's see here. Wow, that's some crazy slippage. It's like 4 ticks. Okay, we're also short now on our Eagle trade. And I think actually with the Eagle, because there's a fair amount of risk here, well, I think I can safely bring my stops down at least above this high. Might be a little early to actually implement a trailing stop. Okay, the Eagle didn't seem to slip as bad as the Raptor trade did. I am going to force this trade to break even now, though. There we go. Because I'm what in trading circles is known as a chicken. Yeah, that's true too. Scott says it's probably slow because of rollover. Scott says no +2 on the break even. I'm going to let this one ride, Scott. All right, and I think I'm going to do the same now here for the Raptor trade. Just because we're getting close. And I did get tagged on that little bit of a pushback. So the Eagle trade still hanging on. Come on. These lows, this is the reason I took the break even early. These lows are a little problematic right there. If we get below those lows, well, then the market definitely has some room. But first things first. If we can't break these lows, then we essentially have a double bottom, and it's likely we will see the market try to rally. See, look at that. They won't get through there. Well, got a couple of dollars, not really anything to boast about, though. The Raptor now with the number 1 signal. The Hawk, pardon me, yes, Hawk also with the first micro macro cross. So a couple of things here looking a little bit more bearish. I think, given the way the market is bouncing around, a very generous second push entry might be prudent. Well, they're trying. They're thinking about it. They're taking it under advisement. Yeah, it's unfortunately I did get tagged on that little bit of a pushback because it looks as though the market may actually try to continue lower from here, but I do have my number one signal covered. All right, well, at least this one did not give me the crazy slippage the other one did. Oh, well, that was fast. I was just about to see what kind of slippage there was when the market hit my profit target and my break-even trigger. Come on, let's go. Don't be looking back. Silly market. Best stop for the trade, by the way, it would now be above here. But I'll let the auto break even do its thing. Yeah, Mark says we've had 4 up days in a row for 200 plus points. I expect a possible correction and more of a bearish sentiment to the downside today. But of course, we'll see. I dropped and shattered my crystal ball about a year ago and haven't been able to find a new one yet. That's why I use the Magic 8 Ball, Mark. It's plastic. All right, so I'm going to enable now my ATR stops, and we'll see how they follow through on this. And I would have to agree with Mark, and I think it goes back here now to the daily chart, how I showed you earlier. You know, here's the contract highs. We breached the highs. You just know there's going to be some selling going on, and I'll show you that in a little bit more detail after this trade, which I would dearly love to try to nurse all the way back down to the 7150 zone from yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, Mark says, gotta give me one of those. Father's Day is coming. I'm I'm surprised. That Magic 8 Ball, that's got to be one of those things that's been around, oh my goodness, 50 some odd years now. I can't believe they're still selling it. I still found it in the toy store. All right, we're making nice progress on the trade, and I guess I'll stay with the ATR stop a little bit longer, but I really don't want to give up too much of this open profit, so I'm going to get ready on my parabolics. Where's my next support zone? Down there, 71.75. Okay, as we get closer to the 71.75 zone, if we get closer to the 71.75 zone, I'm going to adopt the parabolic. Yeah, there's 71.80. That might be my cue. So parabolics, a great strategy. You can see at this moment, they're at the same place where the ATR stops were. But what the parabolics will do is as the programming notes the trend is starting to weaken, it will bring in your stops a little bit tighter. See, right now the programming is still thinking the trend is pretty strong, so the stops are fairly liberal. We also have the bar high low strategy, which is ultra aggressive. It will really protect any open profit you have. And now things, well, hesitating a little. Come on, one more big push. Where's Ray Burke when I need him? Push! He would always crack me up with that. Joel, Joel says there's an online 8-ball. Oh, this I got to check out. Yeah, Mark says I remember those Magic 8-balls when I was a kid, and that was 50 years ago. Me too, Mark. I remember sitting around trying to figure out what to ask it, not really cluing in that it wasn't real. Oh, look at this. Perfect. Joel providing us here with the ask8ball.net. That's beautiful. I love it. Will the NASDAQ continue lower? Ooh, my sources say no. Okay, well, good thing I went with the tighter stops. All right, so I got bounced out on that little snap right there. And that's okay. Just out of curiosity, when I do get stopped out and I've gone with a tighter stop strategy, sometimes what I'll do is I'll move to my other stop strategy and just see, was I a little bit too aggressive with my stop? Would I have done better with another stop? And in this case, no, I think the parabolics were probably the best I could have done on that trade. Would have got tagged here on the ATR stop out now. Mark says I got the same answer on the Magic 8-ball. Hey, the Magic 8-ball does not lie. Well, folks, I think that may have been the move du jour today. I think, well, certainly, if it wasn't for the trading room, my day would be done. That was not a bad day's work. And of course, I'm using air quotes. Mark says, of course, I asked if it will continue higher, and I got very doubtful. So I guess anything goes with, as usual, with the 8-ball. Yep. you gotta shake it hard. Yeah. Joel says it's as accurate as any guru. Yeah, you can have some fun with that. All right. Well, I think it's safe to say the market is in more of a downtrend today. As such, you're probably going to do better with selling opportunities. That said, it looks like we may experience a little bit of a pullback here. The market reluctant to really, just commit to a trend and plod along. We're getting these quick little moves and then long periods of nothing. Then a quick little move and more nothing. So now we're kind of back in the nothing part. Mark's still having fun here with the Magic 8 Ball. He says, if you put in, will the NQ futures market continue higher? You get most likely. Yeah. Honestly, I think long term, well, the stock market's been going higher for 20 some odd years. There's no reason to believe it won't continue higher. In fact, this rally right here, this is a very strong rally. Anytime you see big bars like this with very little overlap, that's significant. These are big bars through here too, but you see how the market is overlapping, retracing the same prices? That's not as significant. This is okay for us when we're day trading. There's lots of intraday ranges, but this is actually telling us, yeah, there's probably some serious buying going on. Look at what happened here. Saw the market rally up. Sure, it was quiet for 2.5 weeks, but then it rallied up again. Here's some big bars to the downside. Market got quiet for a couple of days and then had another follow through. Big bars, again, very little overlap, a little quiet period, and then the market continued higher. So that's something to look forward to. See, when you get big bars, very little overlap. I was also going to show you how markets react when they break out above contract highs. So here was the previous contract high, the market backing off from it here, breaking it here, and then of course, we got a fairly substantial correction. Same thing happening now to the downside. The market breaks, there's a reaction. The market breaks, there's a reaction. So whenever you hit a significant support or resistance area and you see it break, you should anticipate some sort of reaction. So here we are at the contract highs now. Not a real big surprise that the market's reacting to that. Where, the market breaks the highs, a lot of sellers are getting really excited about the possibility of shorting. So, are we going to get a full-blown correction like this? Well, probably not. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I could see a move back toward all this clutter back here. Incidentally, that would put us back around the 7,000 range. I think that's a definite possibility. That's 200 points. That's significant. There's room to profit there for sure. But you need to be careful not to get too predictive in your trading. You don't want to, approach the market and already have your mind made up, because I guarantee you the market will do the exact opposite of what you think it's going to do. Okay, and the market, making a little bit of a hiccup, bounced me out, and now continuing lower to what was my ultimate profit target down here at the 71.50 zone. Honestly, I don't know if they have enough left in them to get down there, but hey, it looks like they may give it a whirl. This, of course, putting us well inside yesterday's trading range. All right, Mark, asking the magic 8 ball one last time. He says, okay, last shot I asked, should I bet everything I have on the NQ futures market to the upside? It came back with, it's decidedly so. I'm going all in. Well, maybe not today. We'll see. They're obviously, like I said, in a downtrend today. I think more than a few traders are going to be looking for a little bit of a pushback and maybe another chance to short. The thing is, when the market makes a rather strong move, as it did today, there will be the tendency for the market to kind of drift sideways for the rest of the session. Occasionally, we will see the market make a full-blown reverse, and then all of a sudden the bears take the market over, or pardon me, the bulls in this case take the market over. But I don't know if that's going to be the case today. I think we may see the market just kind of drift sideways for the remainder of the session. That's kind of, like I said, the way it's been. You get the move and then you get the big pause. And Mark says, gotta have a little fun, right? Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. All right, we'll hang with them for a little bit here. If we don't really get anything else going on, today and tomorrow, I do have some early appointments that I need to get to. So if the market doesn't really offer us anything promising, I think we may button up shop a little bit earlier, but we'll see. We're not doing that right now. We're just going to hang with it for a little bit. But I could see possibly, like I say, a little bit of a pullback brewing. All right, so here, again, we're kind of conflicted a little bit, and that's to be expected. The market's made a big move. The hawk getting a little bit bullish here. We do have some green bars creeping in. The falcon also trying to produce a trend change signal. The eagle still full on uh, bear market. The raptor, this is one of these instances where technically I would interpret this as a number 3 signal, even though the market has not touched the hard edge. So you could certainly look at this and you could say, oh, well, that's really, really close. That's a number 3 signal. And I think I'll try that. So I'm just going to point this out to you because this is, I get these questions. Well, is this a viable signal? How come it didn't print? And so on it goes. Yes, it is a viable signal. Um, it is essentially a number 3 signal that did not quite get to the hard edge, so it's not going to print as a number 3, but it is still a number 3 signal. And we'll see if there's any bearishness left in this market, maybe enough to push it down here to the 7150 zone. Okay, and we're near the lows. I'm going to push it to break even just because, in case it does a little bounce off of the low, and so far so good. Come on, just a couple more ticks. Actually, if it breaks this low, there is a good chance it will drift down to the 7150 mark. But I will take my profit if I can get it. Come on. There we go. We'll really put the squeeze on it now. There we go. Hooray. Hooray for us. And we can, like I said, we can probably expect the market to try to continue lower down here. But I'm just as happy taking my profit on that one. Okay, good day. And I'm definitely done now. And there they go. They're going to, well, hopefully they're going to. They're just a few ticks above here, the 71.50 mark. And voila, there we go. Hooray. So it looks like I could have been a little bit more aggressive on that trade as well. Left a little profit behind, but you know what? You're never going to you're never going to catch all the highs and all the lows. All right, gang. Like I said, I'm sorry I got to shut down the room a little bit early today and tomorrow. But I will see you again tomorrow. If you're going to trade the rest of the day, like I said, the trend definitely down. So I would not even entertain any buy signal, no matter how good it looks. I think you're just asking for it. Have yourselves a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.